The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Day 2 of Jets rookie minicamp is in the books, and our national nightmare involving Mason Taylor's number might be over. We'll get into that. We will hear from Aaron Glenn, and Jets insider Nick Faria will join us live from Florham Park. It's the Jake Asman Show on a Nick Saturday. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go. Here on a Saturday, we're presented by Huega House. Get their brand new performance hats in either white, beige, silver, green, navy, you name it, they have it. HuegaHouse.com, 20% off with code ASMAN at checkout. Click the link in the description and save money on your brand new hats from Huega House. Shout out to Huega House for sponsoring today's show. We're going to be joined by Jets reporter Nick Faria in just a bit. He is at the Jet facility right now. He covered day 2 of Jets rookie mini camp. So we will get Nick's eyewitness observations from another day outside today at the Jet facility. But before we do any of that, I want to remind people that if you enter our raffle, you have a chance to win our first ever non-Jet prize, a signed Jalen Brunson jersey in honor of this Knicks playoff run. Prize 2 is a signed throwback 1996 Aaron Glenn jersey, and prize 3 is a signed Curtis Martin jersey. Before I get you to Aaron Glenn's presser that just wrapped up moments ago, I want to share something I think pretty cool. We're going to give away at the end of this show a signed Patrick Ewing signed photo. So if you want in on the Ewing raffle, all gifted memberships during this live show go towards that, and you're entered in our weekly raffle for next week. Shout out to Paul Faz as I'm talking here. He's the first person to enter our Patrick Ewing raffle at the end of the show. He is in for 5. All right, we have set the scene. Now with that said, let's go live to Florham Park and let's hear from the head coach of the New York Jets following day 2 of rookie minicamp. Here is Aaron Glenn.
Doing?
How you doing?
Good. Well, it felt good being being on the grass and being inside and being in meetings for a while. And I'm gonna tell you guys exactly somewhat of what I told the players on the first day. Here's what we had. We had about 10 guys that was part of this camp who's actually been a part of our program already, like about 5 weeks of the phase that we have. 7 draft picks, 15 undrafted free agents, and I think we had about 12 trial guys. So, man, we had guys from like major Division I programs, some guys from 1AA. We had some guys from HBCUs. And I told those guys that it really doesn't matter like where you from, even what you did. The thing is, they all done a great job to get in the building. And once you get in the building, you have a shot. So I thought it was important for them to understand that. I thought it was important for them to understand the direction of what we're trying to do in this camp, that it wasn't a true physical camp, but there were 3 things I was trying to get out of those guys. What I want to know is, can they learn? 1, 2, are they coachable? And 3, can they play special teams? And I think a lot of those guys answered those questions. So that was my message to those guys, and I thought those guys did a really good job. So any questions? No questions?
Like the guys you signed in the offseason and the way you drafted some guys, that special teams is going to be a pretty big emphasis. Can you maybe elaborate on that?
Well, it is. My last 2 stops, and when I say that, I'm in New Orleans and with Detroit. I really saw how special teams made a huge impact as far as wins and losses. And I'm not saying that the other teams I was with didn't pay attention to it, but, man, I really see how they can really change an outcome of a game from being aggressive as far as fakes, and that's what we did in Detroit quite a bit, and having a dynamic returner that can create field position for you, and then understand the situational football when it comes to special teams, which I've learned quite a bit, in my last couple of years of coaching and really trying to study special teams. So it will always be an emphasis for us. And we have two really good coaches that's going to do a good job coaching that side.
How did it feel for you to just simply be out there coaching on the field? The whole offseason building your roster and actually getting the guy out there and coach these guys. How was that for you?
I might answer this a little different than where you might think I'm going to answer it, but it was different in the aspect of, and I say this when I talk to coordinators, I come from being a position coach when I'm having my guys, and I'm coaching my guys, and I'm focused really on those guys. And once I got the coordinator job, now I'm focusing on the masses of, I would say, 23 guys that's a part of the defense, and not just the defensive backs, which is different. And now my focus is on the whole team. So, man, but it's outstanding for me to get a chance to go to every position and be able to give my opinions on how they should do things and try to help those guys be successful. And that's the fun thing about coaching. That's the fun thing about my development as a coach, to be able to go with the quarterbacks and talk to those guys, the running backs, the D-line, the linebackers. So that was the change of being able to move around the field and be able to coach every position.
How do you feel the off-season program is going with veteran guys and stuff
Yeah.
like that, attendance-wise, and what you've been trying to get across to them?
Listen, outstanding. I think those guys have done a hell of a job of understanding what we're trying to create. I think we had over 90% in phase one, and going into phase two, we're up to about 94%. So I give those guys a lot of credit of understanding like what we're trying to create and just buying in to what we're selling. And when you get a new regime, that's the one thing you want to make sure you do. Just get the trust of the players. And I do believe with every part of me that these guys know exactly what we're trying to do. And the thing is, my verbiage has been very simple from the beginning. And as it goes to phase three, the verbiage is going to change because we're doing things different. Because now we're really on the field. There's some competitive moments out there. And then exactly how I see the identity of the team going forward, because we're on the grass at that point.
What is it that you're trying to create?
Say it again?
What is it that you're trying to create?
Well, the first two phases, I was really focusing on strength and conditioning. I think I told you guys that early. And listen, I did not want those guys really thinking much about scheme. I didn't want them thinking about Super Bowl, all that stuff. I just want you to think about strength and conditioning, and also how we're going to build this culture and how we're going to get the building environment the way we want to. And once you start to go into phase three, now you start to look at, like, what is this identity of this team is going to look like? And don't ask me, because I'm not going to tell you. But I'm going to start verbalizing that to these guys because we're on the grass and we're competing against each other. And I want those guys to know exactly who we are.
You're not getting answers from Aaron Glenn.
I think that's the best way to do it.
Never.
To teach it in stages instead of putting everything on those guys. And they're buying in. They're completely buying in. I give a lot of credit to those guys. I'm happy with what they're doing.
Aaron, just to get back to what you're talking about, the transition to being a head coach.
Yeah.
Did you find that a little difficult at all? It seemed like you're like a layer removed. Did you miss having your hands on things? But a couple of times I saw you had your hands on your knees. You were ready to take a rep.
I was probably tired. No, but that transition is always tough. I just talked about that before, from being a DB coach to a coordinator to head coach. But I give a lot of credit, man, to Dan Campbell of putting me in positions to be head coach, for the Lions on certain situations, and for him putting me in front of the room, for him asking my advice on how practice should go. So it was really a seamless transition for me to script practice. It was a seamless transition for me to be in front of the team. So all those things he's done, man, actually prepped me to be in this position. So I give him a lot of credit for that.
It's only they're running around in shorts with no
Yeah.
pads, but a couple of pass catching guys with Mason and Arian Smith. Any instant takeaways from those two guys?
Listen, Aaron has some juice, don't he? God, he can run and he's bouncy, and he's a really good athlete. And I thought the first day he went out there and he was really focused on making sure that I see through the ball and make sure I could bring it in. I think he did a good job yesterday catching the ball. Mason is exactly who we thought he was. He has dynamic movements. He can really catch the ball. He did a good job catching the ball away from his body. He's quick to bring it in and get north and south, exactly like we want, which we call knifing. So listen, I'm happy with both of those men, and there's a clear vision of how we're going to utilize those guys, and I'm glad they're on our team.
Take a couple more.
AJ, if I can go back to Dan, we talked about what he did for you.
Yeah.
Was he doing that for you? Was he doing that for the betterment of the Detroit Lions?
Yeah.
Was it some mixture of that? And how do you take that moving forward now as a head coach?
You know what? I do think it was a mixture. I think he, in the back of his mind, he was prepping me to be in this position. But also, I think he knew I had to ear the team also, not just the defense. Because I vibe with those guys on the offense quite a bit. And I think I've said this before. Every morning at 7:30, J-Mo was in my office, and we would sit there and talk. So I do agree with that. I think it was a little bit of both. You know, now that I actually look back and just think about the positions that he put me in. But again, like, I give him so much credit for making this a seamless transition for me to stand here and be the head coach of this team.
Can you speak about the way Membu moves at 3:30?
I could easily say dancing bear, but everyone says that. But he's an agile, gifted, big man with measurables that everybody wants when it comes to offensive linemen, and he's only going to get better. He wants to work. He wants to be good. He wants to compete. He has all those traits that we look for when it comes to an O lineman. He's nasty. I'm excited what he's going to do when you add him to the guys that we already have. So it's going to be a lot of competition, in that O line, and those guys know it. And I've said this several times: elite athletes strive in those situations, and I do believe that he's going to step up to the plate and be one of the guys and actually strive, knowing that he's competing with everybody on the O-line to be the best that they can be.
Have you heard from Quincy or Quinnen Williams about their baby brother?
Well, I'm sure you guys are going to talk to him at some point, but I don't know if there's ever, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, had three brothers actually suit up for the same team in some capacity. And I just think it's outstanding that he has a Jet jersey on, and both of his brothers are actually here with us. So it's a beautiful story. He's working his butt off. And again, I'm sure you guys are going to talk to him.
With this one, through phase 1 and phase 2, what have you been able to take away with Justin Fields, just in terms of not throwing the ball, just in terms of leadership and the way he interacts with his teammates?
There's a quiet confidence about that man that's unshakable. And even though that he's not the most vocal person, he's active with his body language. He's active with his one-on-one conversations. If he has to stand in front of the guys and say something, he will. He will. He's not one of those guys going to talk just to talk, because sometimes if you do that, players around you can get deadhead. But he says things when it needs to be said. He's a really good athlete. He works his butt off in the weight room. He's another guy that he's doing everything he can to improve. And whatever advantage he can get from coaching, strength and conditioning, being on the field, he's going to get that. He's going to take that advantage, and he's going to run with it. So I'm very happy where he's at. I'm very happy with actually all the quarterbacks that we have in this program right now. And I know they're going to push each other to be better.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you. How you guys doing?
Thank you to Aaron Glenn for that presser there. Hope everyone enjoyed watching it. We're going to bring on Nick Faria in a minute. A couple quick takeaways that I have from that Glenn presser. Message to the players: be coachable and prioritize special teams. We know the Jets are very, very big on special teams with Aaron Glenn, and they were big on special teams with some of the decisions they made in the draft. 94% player attendance. Glenn saying the goal is to get the trust of the players when you're a new regime. Feels like he's gotten tremendous buy-in from the team. Glenn, did you notice when asked about a bunch of different players was pretty even-keeled? And then when asked about Arian Smith, the highly discussed fourth-round pick by the Jets, he was almost giddy talking about him. Arian has some sort of juice, don't he? He's almost excited, animated. I think we've seen Aaron Glenn. Then asked about Mason Taylor, said Mason Taylor is exactly who we thought he was. You like hearing that? And probably the biggest news of today is the fact that Mason Taylor's career has been saved. He will not be wearing number 46. He will instead wear a real NFL number. He'll rock number 85 as his official number. The improvement cannot be overstated. That is well said. And at the end, I did enjoy a little praise for Justin Fields because let's be real, any chance the Jets have of being better than most people think comes down to whether or not they could get Justin Fields to play at a higher level than he has at any point in his career. So some thoughts there from the head coach. Now let's say hi to a guy who actually saw what occurred on the field today. He is driving back from Florham Park right now. Jets reporter for JetsXFactor.com. Nick Faria joins us on the show. What's up, Nick?
How's everything going, guys? Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear. So
Perfect.
I defer to you, Nick. You were the eyewitness today. What were some of the things that stood out on day 2 of rookie minicamp?
Oh, this was more about the fundamentals, the positional value overall today. We saw a lot more reps on 11 on 11 yesterday than we did today, but some really solid footwork overall. Listen, you know, I said it yesterday. I wrote about it yesterday, and I continue to see it every single time he runs a route. But Arian Smith, man, there are people that are going to be concerned because of the drops, concerned about the dependability. He dealt with a lot of injuries out in college. I saw 4 catches today. I saw 3 catches yesterday. And the only thing I could think of was being transported back into 2010 watching Deshaun Jackson run routes. It is very, very similar. The way he gets out of breaks, the way he attacks the football, the way that he turns upfield, very, very similar. I thought if you're looking at a player that sort of came out looking better than he came in over the last couple of days, Arian Smith is at the top of the list. You have to talk about Tyler Barron as well, the edge rusher out of Miami, the last pick of the Jets in the draft. I thought he's had a couple of really strong days, not just in 11 on 11 work, but also just in terms of his overall fundamentals. He's a lot bigger than he is listed. I mean, this is a big dude that I think will probably fill the JFM role moving forward. May not happen right away, but he's someone who looks like he's playing the run very well. He's technically sound, and he's getting some pass rush wins as well. So all in all, a very strong couple of days for the Jets rookie class. I love what I see from Donovan Edwards. I mean, the guy's bottlenecked, unfortunately, with the running back room is. But, man, Jets have some really, really good young players in this system right now. We'll see what happens when the pads come on, when the veterans are incorporated into these systems. But I really like what I saw the last couple of days from these rookies.
How about Arman Membu, Nick? What have you seen from him?
Quiet, I think, and that's the best way to describe it. You know, I thought he was really solid in the run game yesterday. We didn't really see him in pass protection because he did his assignment. He blocked these guys. Didn't really give up a lot of pressures. And again, there's no pads, so you have to take it with a grain of salt overall. But you see the burst, you see the physicality, you see the nastiness that Aaron Glenn kind of described with the 7th overall pick. So the way that I see it, they are very high on Membu. It looks like he's going to be able to be penciled in right away as the starter. I don't think there's going to be much of a veteran sort of lean in to start and then sort of gradually bring Membu into the picture. I think he's ready to start right away. He's looked very solid overall. The footwork is great. The hand placement looks solid. It's just a matter of giving him the reps that he needs.
You heard the end of me playing the Glenn presser. You also were there and watched the whole thing live. What stood out from some of the comments from Aaron Glenn? Because this is the first time anyone has had a chance to hear from him since the draft, of course.
Well, you talk about culture, and Tyler Barron said it as well. The first thing you really noticed within these practices is the culture that they are trying to build. The ability of a head coach to not only be presentable for players to feel comfortable to come to them with questions, concerns, whatever's going on with life, but also understanding the balance between, being a nice guy and being a hard ass, making sure that people are doing the right things. And I think at times the previous regime sort of got stuck more on just trying the nurturing side. They weren't really going all out hard and trying to discipline players. You saw it a couple of times. I mean, Steve Wilkes yesterday was all over his defense when they weren't in position, all over their defense when they weren't wrapping up where they were supposed to, not running with the technical side that they had been teaching over the last couple of days. Accountability is 100% here in Florham Park, and I think that balance of having a nurturing voice, a player's coach in the locker room, but also having him be comfortable enough to say, I'm going to be on you if you're not doing your job right. I think that's a very important part of what Aaron Glenn brings to the table.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. If you have a question for Jets reporter Nick Faria, write it in. He was at both day 1 and day 2 of rookie minicamp. So if you want Nick to give you a take or an observation on something he saw, this is the opportunity to do so. King and Dreams with a super chat. Oh, bleep, I caught a live stream. What's good, Chad? Happy Saturday to all. Paul Faz in our raffle for 5. Paul's memberships went to Sir Luca, NZ Kiwi, Game Master, Philip Rizak Jr., and Andrew Kennedy. Philip Hannon is in the Asmaniac raffle for 5. Thank you very much, Philip. Your channel memberships went to the following listeners: Dano, Andrew William, James Feltz, Devin Chafin, and Yosef Sofer. Also, huge shout out to Jennergy, who writes in, I'm pulling up to the KFTV watch party. Jennergy needs that Captain Clutch jersey. She got to have it. Bing bong. Let's go Knicks. Jets, 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 Jets. If you tuned in late, in honor of the Knicks playoff run, we're giving away at the end of this show a signed Patrick Ewing 8x10 photo that comes with a certificate of authentication. So we're all in for the Knicks on this channel, in addition to our daily coverage of the Jets. So we'll give that out at the end. Get the membership or send in a $10 super chat or higher to be eligible for the prize. Rick writes in, AG is honest not playing. That should go a long way with the players. Nick, what have been kind of your thoughts talking to some players so far and being around the facility on the way Aaron Glenn is able to connect with guys?
No, I think that's probably the best description. He's honest. He's not going to, shortchange any particular player. I think it was Arman Membu yesterday when we talked to him. He goes, he's coaching us, but he's not demeaning us. He's not demeaning us, but he wants us to be the best that we possibly can be. And I think that's a huge, huge balancing act that a lot of head coaches sort of fail with. They either are too buddy-buddy with the players or too hard on the players, where you sort of have an impasse in the locker room with the coaching staff. Aaron Glenn right now, I think, is towing the line, towing that middle beautifully at this point. And again, let's also remember, it's his first off season. The games have not started. Push comes to shove. What happens when the team goes on a losing streak? What happens if a player gets hurt? There's going to be so many different instances of these kind of things changing. But the early returns from Aaron Glenn continue to be very positive within the locker room. The players like him. The players respect him. And they are buying into what he has to say.
Weeb the Dweeb with a question for you. He writes in, did you see the newest Williams brother at practice, and how did you think he did?
I thought he was fine. I think he's a long shot overall to make the roster. This was a tryout basis. I think Aaron Glenn was excited about the possibility of having 3 brothers all on the same team, even if for a little while. It's really cool. It's a great story. And we talked to Giovanni today as well, just about the, what his story was like. He mentioned how he was 350 pounds in high school and then dropped to like 180 in like 4 months. however likely that is. I mean, that's almost unheard of overall on Weight Watchers. But the fact is, he has always said he's got Quincy Williams' speed, but Quinnen's body.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Nick Faria getting eaten alive by the internet gods. We'll get Nick back on with us shortly here. If you have a question for Nick, write it in. We'll bring him back on once his phone connects. Let's see. Nick, do you have us now?
Can you guys hear me?
There we go. We lost you in the middle of that answer there due to your connection. And he gone. Ladies and gentlemen, the internet gods, they strike again. Super chat from PBM in the raffle for 2. We'll work on getting Nick back on with us shortly. Hearing good things about Arian Smith is giving me all the feels. Mike, your fandom is incredible because you go so high and low immediately. You hear one good answer about Arian Smith from the head coach, and you're all in. I love it. Nick, who's your dark horse undrafted free agent to make the team? I'll ask him that for you when we hopefully get Nick back with us. Bing bong. Let's go, Knicks. In Glenn, we trust. Let's go, Knicks, baby. I will be at the Garden today. Can't wait. And another reminder, we are giving away at the end of the show, in honor of this Knicks run, a signed Patrick Ewing 8x10 photo. And our top prizes in our weekly raffle. First time we've ever done a top prize that's not Jet related, but this is the time for it. A signed Jalen Brunson jersey. Then we have a signed Aaron Glenn jersey and a signed Curtis Martin jersey as our top prizes in this week's raffle. Kyle Clifton is in the Asmaniac raffle for 5. Kyle, always appreciate your support. You know what? We're giving you a bang bang. Bang! Bang! The following 5 people are now channel members because of Kyle Clifton's generosity. So if you hear your name called, you thank the former great Jet. JS, John, Attic, Jonathan Fernandez, and Ernesto Rivera. Thank you very much to Kyle. We got Nick back with us right now. Hopefully the connection's a little better. Nick, do you hear us?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
We hear you. All right. You were in the middle of talking about the newest Williams brother. Your thoughts on his chances of making this team and even just sticking around through training camp?
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult to tell. I think it's still a long shot, but the fact of the matter is having 3 brothers on the same team, really incredible. So it's a great story. And yeah, something to really look forward to in OTAs.
The other question I got for you from a listener, Purple Belt Mike, he wanted to hear your thoughts on which undrafted free agent actually has a chance to make the team and have an impact.
I think it's Dean Clark, the safety. I mean, they only have 3 safeties right now, so I think that's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening. But again, I love what Donovan Edwards has shown so far to this point. I think that if he was on any other roster, he probably makes the 53 early on. I mean, he just has such great burst. He's got the vision. I really, really like what I'm seeing. But he's on a defense, he's in a running back room that is kind of packed. There's no real room for him to make a mark, make an impact as a runner, as a special teams guy, because Nkwonu, the running back, is probably going to be your returner, your kick returner for this season. So I find it really hard to believe that Edwards is going to have a role, but I think he absolutely should. But if I were to say a player that's going to make the 53, probably Dean Clark as of this moment.
All right, here's my latest question to you. Is it true that Mason Taylor saved his career by changing his number from 46 to 85?
Yes, I think so. I didn't like 45 at all. That's not a tight end number. That's a backup tight end number. 85 is a perfect number for him. Expected 800-yard receiving year. That was better than Dalton Kincaid his rookie year. Absolutely.
Jets Worldwide wants to know, how is the organization treating the media this year, better or worse than the last regime?
I think it's about the same. I haven't really seen much of a difference. They treat the media very well, in my opinion. They're pretty respectful of our time. They give the answers they possibly can. Sometimes they don't want to give too much, which is understandable in the National Football League, but still a positive overall.
Michael Duramo with a super chat. He says, wow, a Jets coach that actually sounds like a coach. Love the attention to detail. He seems to see everything. Let's go.
Well, I think the one thing that is so important with this is you're seeing Aaron Glenn, particularly over the last few days. He's in the offensive huddle. He's communicating with the offense. And maybe that's because Steve Wilkes has sort of got a handle on the defensive side of the ball. It would make a lot of sense. But the fact that Aaron Glenn is so in tune with the offense, it's a big contrast to the previous regime. Robert Saleh didn't really spend a lot of time on offense. He was overall looking at the team from a full roster standpoint, but he never really spent a lot of time on the offensive side of the ball. The fact that Aaron Glenn's doing it is probably the biggest difference as of this point. And then, yeah, listen, they're very intentional. Aaron Glenn said he wanted to be intentional with how he taught, intentional with how his coaching staff reacted to the players, and you are seeing that early on.
What else stood out today, Nick? Empty the notebook for the people here.
Sorry, what'd you say?
What else stood out today? Empty the Nick Faria notebook for the people.
Gotcha. Yeah, so listen, I will say if there was a big winner today, it's probably got to be Mason Taylor. He had a couple of big time catches, a lot of yards after a catch possibility. I thought he looked really, really solid today. And like I said, he looked better in 85 than 45. So I thought he had a really solid day. Donovan Edwards was solid as well. And you know, we mentioned it before, but I really think this Tyler Barron pick is going to be one of the more underrated players from this draft class because he had a couple of pressures yesterday, would have had a sack in an in-game situation. If he's able to produce anything this year, that'll make this draft class look even better because you've already got two penciled-in starters in Membu and Taylor. If you can get a third on that defensive side, whether it's Malachi Moore or a guy like Barron, that is a massive win for the Jets.
All right. Super chats, cut the line. Gifted memberships, keep them coming. Kyle Clifton is in our raffle for one. Reminder, you're entered in the weekly raffle and the raffle at the end of the show for the signed Patrick Ewing photo I'm going to give away to one lucky listener. We're celebrating a Nick playoff run. Bing bong. Let's go, Knicks. K-Brock says, how did Skinner, the undrafted wide receiver, look?
Quiet. We didn't really see much of him. And again, it's going to take time. He's learning a system. He's learning how to do and act like an NFL player. I didn't really see much of him. Really, the only pass plays we saw completed today were either to Taylor or any of the running backs. He wasn't really much of an impact these last two.
Jersey Jet writes in, man, that clear vision comment gave me a bonesy. Your thoughts on Glenn's clear vision?
He's very intentional with how he speaks, man. He's one of the more well-spoken coaches that I've heard covering the NFL now for 10 years. I look at it the way the Jets fans should, is the fact that you better give this coaching staff at least some wiggle room to operate, some wiggle room to build their culture because you can clearly see improvements coming.
Emmanuel says, is it possible that Donovan Edwards cracks the RB room?
Maybe, but I find it very hard to believe. I really, really do. There's three running backs that are going to start. The fourth is Naguan, who's going to be the returner. Do you really want to keep five running backs? I find that very hard to believe.
It's going to be tricky for him. Now, could he play receiver? Like, he's such a good athlete. Could they try him there?
Maybe, but I don't see that happening because I think their receiver room is going to be bottlenecked as well. What's going to happen with Malachi Corley, with Darian Smith, Tyler Johnson? Is he going to make the roster? Is the team going to trade Allen Lazard? It doesn't really look like it right now. But if he keeps it on the roster, then yeah, there's a good chance that there is no room for anyone else at the receiver position.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We're talking with Nick Faria. Let's open up the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Nick has been at both day one and day two of rookie minicamp, so he can break down the state of the Jets in this rookie class. First up today are two fine gentlemen that are on the golf course, Connor and Chris. Are you there, gentlemen? Connor, Chris, going once. There they are.
Can you guys hear me?
We hear you.
Oh, what's up? Sorry, I was on the other line. Yeah, what's up, Nick? What's up, Jake?
How you doing?
Where's Chris?
I'm doing well. Chris is, let me see, I don't even know how to flip this camera. Chris is down there, though. He's,
all right.
Yeah.
You told me to say hello.
I have him by 3 strokes right now on 8. So. Nick, how did Dean Clark look at minicamp? I know you've spoken a lot about him as a name to make the roster. What have you seen from him through these past few days?
Good range, solid physicality. This isn't really the time to look and say, oh, this guy is fantastic, because they don't have pads on. Once you see pads on, then you'll start to understand and at least see what these defensive backs kind of bring to the table. But I like what I see. He's got good range. He's got good speed. I certainly think he's got the potential to be someone special from this undrafted pool.
Interesting. Yeah, safety position's weird. I think Malachi Moore could actually really be a starter on this team. All they really have is Tony Adams and Andre Cisco. One quick thing here. Do you think Caden Davis is going to be the starting kicker for the Jets week 1?
Jaden who, buddy?
Caden Davis, the old UDFA from Ole Miss.
No. Yeah, no. I wouldn't say that just yet. Too early in my opinion. I think the only potential that you can see right now from mini camp, from this rookie camp, wait to see, but I really do believe Arian Smith is going to have a chance to compete for wide receiver 2, not just wide receiver 3 or 4. I think he looked solid. The fact that Aaron Glenn was jumping out of his podium today talking about it is another thing. I think they're very, very high on the receiver.
Nick, Jake, appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Connor, hit him long and hit him straight.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
Love it. Connor checking in from the golf course. Let's add to Tristan, who's next on our show. What's up, Tristan?
What's up, Jake? It's been a while, man. I moved out to Utah. It's crazy out here.
You're in Zach Wilson country.
Yeah, I'm out here. I seen his mom the other day. It was crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
So I think my biggest thing is, like, Nick Faria, dude, Tyler Barron literally walked into the University of Miami on a loaded young defensive line and matched the energy of somebody who's definitely going to be a first-round pick next year. I've watched every snap, and the only reason why he fell is because we had possibly the worst defensive coordinator in all of college football last year, which is why he got fired with a top 15 finish. So definitely super excited to see what these UM guys can do with proper coaching. I do see them getting a lot of playing time, and he's the perfect pick to actually, bring JJ back at a pace if we needed him to, because he has that same motor and that same, ambition to get to that quarterback. I don't know how he is against the run because he was always schemed out of position by our defensive coordinator. But other than that, it's been a while. I've been moving. I'm super excited to see what this team comes with. I think the picks were not outstanding, but they were necessary. And we picked the right picks for what we actually need to do next year in order to be competitive.
Look, I think it was a boring draft, Tristan, but you know what? I think they needed a boring type of draft. Like they to me got better, and I think the early returns are positive on Membu and Taylor as far as them being instant day one starters, which I fully anticipate. Obviously with Membu, but I think Taylor's going to start too, Nick.
I agree. I think Taylor starts. There's a chance we talked about Malachi Moore starts. There's a chance that Barron gets a lot more playing time than people realize. I mean, you could be looking at one point later this year 4
Can't
to
hear
5
you.
starters from this draft class.
Your audio is very low.
All right, hold on. Let me jump back out. I'll try to jump back in.
All right, now you're good right now. Stay right there. All right, never mind. In the meantime, more of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lane train's on the line. Hello, Lane.
Oh, hi. I'm Jack Asman. How are
hello, Lane Train.
I'll talk about the schedule and the Jets coming, the Jets upcoming schedule. So, anyway, how do you feel about all these guys out of college and Jason Taylor and what do you do about Denzel Mims? Do you keep him or do you trade him?
Thank you for the call, Lane. I would say Denzel Mims, I would get rid of his ass. Let's say hello to Nick Faria. He's back with us. Nick, how are you?
How you doing, guys? Sorry, the drive home is always a wonky one. Go figure.
Finish the point that you were saying there before we stopped being able to hear you. Just about Mason Taylor. I think he's going to be a plug-and-play starter.
I completely agree. I think there's a legitimate case that you could be looking at 5 starters from this draft class by the end of the year. Now, let me explain why. First off, Taylor, Membu, plug-and-play day ones. Easy peasy. You at least got 2 starters. If Tyler Barron jumps out of the woodwork and continues to play as well as he has through rookie camp going into training camp, you have a player who can start right away, and you don't have to force Jermaine Johnson into the lineup. That's number 3. Then you could potentially have Malachi Moore. Can he beat out Tony Adams for a starting spot? Not out of the realm of possibility. He's a really good player. And then if Brandon Stevens doesn't work out, well, you have A.Z. Thomas, who is a lockdown corner, a press man corner that I think can be a really good fit for this overall defensive scheme. You look at it right now, the only two that may not start right away, Arian Smith and Kiko. And even then, I think Smith's going to get some quality playing time. I think you are getting, this may have been a boring draft to some people, but you are going to get some quality starters this year alone, and potentially even more.
I'm very fascinated to see how quickly we could potentially see A.Z. Thomas get on the field, because I think he's a starting level player that doesn't necessarily have a starter spot yet, but I think that could change.
Certainly can change. And again, we have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe at the middle of the year, they say, hey, we're going to want to move Brandon Stevens to safety, and let's just put Thomas in there. Maybe an injury happens. You never root for injuries, but injuries happen in the National Football League. An injury goes down, you now have a quality backup turned starter ready to go in Thomas. We also have to remember, when the Jets went into free agency, they not only lost DJ Reed, but they also lost Brandon Echols, which means they needed a developmental depth piece at the position. Now, some people will argue that Quantez Stiggers should have been given that opportunity, but as a 5th-round pick of a previous regime, that's not someone a new regime is going to come out there and say, hey, we're going to go all the way in on this guy right now. That's not how this works. So they drafted what they felt was their full replacement for a guy like Echols, and they got a really good player in Thomas in the 3rd round. You know, they could have drafted a receiver. They could have drafted a defensive tackle. They could have gone that way. But Thomas, in most mock drafts, was a top 50 player. Most mock drafts had him borderline as a 1st-round pick. You got him with the 73rd overall selection. I mean, that's all you can ask for in that kind of situation.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line if you want in on the conversation. Call in on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Let's say hi to Paul, who's next on our show. Paul, what do you got for us?
What's happening, gentlemen?
What's up, Paul?
Yeah.
Little early Mother's Day for me. My mom's down the shore, Jersey Shore. Gonna fix some stuff and make mom happy. How about you boys? Any plans?
My focus is at
any Mother's Day plans.
I can't think about tomorrow. I got to be where my feet are. My feet will be at the Garden in 2 hours, and that's my focus.
Man,
let's go, Knicks.
That's gonna be such a good game.
I tell you what, when you're old school and you live throughout the Ewing and Bulls games and Knicks games, there was nothing like that. And this team's got some nasty to them. I'm loving it. It's like really fun to watch them. They're nasty. It's the best way I could put it. They're just flat out nasty. Love it.
Let me ask you both this question, all right? Because I keep seeing this, and we were talking about it today among reporters. Is today a must-win for the Knicks?
No, I understand why people feel that way because, then you let Boston back in the series. But I can't call it a must-win. It's a must-win for Boston. They're down 2-0. That's how I look at it.
I find it moronic if we're calling this a must-win for the team that's up 2-0. It's so dumb.
Absolutely dumb. And you know what? The reality is, when it comes to sports, you really just want to stop a momentum shift. And, you want them to win and put this thing to bed. But when you're playing in a series like that with two very good teams, you got to expect 7. You got to expect some good game, bad game. I won't be surprised if it still goes 7 just because we're up 2-0. But, we're underdogs, so I'll take a game 7 and love it. So, you got to let them play. See how they come out
feel
tonight.
that they're playing with house money right now. I mean, they should not be up 2-0. Taking 2 against the Celtics shows some fight. I think now to this point, you're playing with house money. Anything that you can get is going to be great for the team moving forward.
And the Garden's going to rock tonight. Are you kidding me? It's going to be insane. Jake, you're lucky as hell, man. I wish I can go to the game. It's got to be insane there. I don't know. Best game I've been at was the opener with the Jets when we lost Aaron Rodgers in 4 snaps. But man, the energy at that game was just insane.
Loudest environment
So
I've ever
yeah,
been in for anything. 100%.
yeah, it was insane, and it was so disappointing. But you know what? It was insane to be at that game for sure. But I just want to say I'm still trying to hold my ground and hold my feet here and not get excited. But today I gotta admit I got a little excited because of Aaron Glenn. I will say this: you really feel the passion of him. Like he wants to be our head coach, and he wants to do well, and you can feel his passion. So he is turning me a little. I'm trying not to go that early yet, Jake. After I told you, after the last couple of years, I'm still flattened out of my whole lifetime of misery, but I'm definitely rooting for him because he's just I like his style, I really do. What's your thoughts? I mean, he seems like he wants it bad, like he's loving it, he's enjoying it, and he's passionate about it. And didn't seem like we had that with the last regime. It seemed like they were almost afraid to screw up, and they
Well, I'll
did.
tell you what, Paul.
So,
Good call. What I really like about Glenn is, for better or worse, if you feel like he's truly behind the decision, stands by it. Like there's no wishy-washiness with him. Like I don't know if he's going to be a good head coach or not. I do know that he's clearly going to do it his way. And I felt like at times Robert Saleh, we thought he was one thing, and he wasn't always that guy. I think there was like some lost authenticity with Saleh at times, and I think Glenn, for better or worse, is uniquely him.
The minute he walked in the building, he acted different. I mean, that's just what it was. The same fiery guy that was with the 49ers was non-existent. And with Glenn, you have that authenticity. You have that sort of mindset of, listen, this is who I am. This is how we're going to win. And again, I've drawn that comparison, and everyone's done it. Bill Parcells, man, it is very, very clear who his mentors have been throughout his NFL journey. Just talking the way Parcells used to, answering questions the way Parcells and Sean Payton did, development of young players like Dan Campbell. You are seeing a growth with the Jets that you haven't recently had in their coaching staff. This is a young staff that is developing together, and you're seeing it live. There's a new aura in the building. This isn't we're going to beat teams and we're going to make the playoffs year one. It's we're going to take care of our business today. We're going to focus on today. Tomorrow will come. We'll have a plan for that, but let's focus on getting better right now. And I think that is the plan to have when you are a retooling team like the Jets, who haven't made the playoffs in close to 2 decades.
JT is in the raffle for one. JT has a chance at the end of the show to win a signed Patrick Ewing photo. That is the top prize at the end of the show today. And our weekly raffle next week, the top 3, a signed Curtis Martin jersey, a signed Aaron Glenn 1996 throwback jersey, and our top prize, a signed Jalen Bronson authenticated jersey. So gift away to be entered, $10 super chat or more, and you're in as well. 10 gets you 2, 20 gets you 5, 50 gets you 10 raffle tickets. One last call for you, Nick, and then I will stay on for the rest, and we will let you get on your way. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to a dear friend of the show, a connoisseur of the Jets and Jets history. It's Clifton time.
I'm not sure you can call me a connoisseur of Jets history if we have Lane out there saying that Denzel Mims is going to be out there starting at the X receiver.
that was some call in between the Nick transition there.
Yeah. Notice the blue today, no green. Very unusual for me. Go New York, go New York, go.
Enjoy the game there, Jake. Nick, I'm very heartened as a guy that was a staunch Colston Loveland proponent, and we see that they're very excited about him in Chicago in Ben Johnson's system. And since we presume that the system here is going to be somewhat similar, I think he might have been a decent fit. But I understood Membu. But the fact that you're saying that on day one and day two, that Thomas is Taylor's out there performing and turning heads a little bit is something that's very, very encouraging, because we need somebody desperately to be a number two in the passing game. And even Arian Smith. I mean, I can be kicked into dragged into believing kicking and screaming. If you're telling me that he's acquitting himself well, those are players that we are going to need without a doubt, and then we can sort out who's going to be there in the running back room. If maybe we'll carry four running backs, maybe we have to carry 5 running backs, considering Kenny is going to be one of the returners, right? And we might not have the need for the number of wide receivers that we've had in the past, considering the offense that we might be running, if we're going to be running 30 to 40% of 12 personnel. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that, Nick.
Well, I think they're going to be a running team to begin with, whether they're in 12 or not, 21, it doesn't really matter. They're going to run the ball a lot, and probably I would say 50 to 60% overall will be running plays this season, just because of Justin Fields, who he is as a passer, who he is as a runner. Just makes more sense to me going that way. Look, it's too early to say a player is going to be this, a player is going to be that. The comparisons that I make on a player that I see usually comes from an immediate reaction. So yesterday I mentioned Arian Smith reminded me a lot of Deshaun Jackson. It's because I saw Deshaun get out of his breaks, run routes, and use his speed consistently like Arian Smith did. That doesn't mean that he's going to be Deshaun Jackson 2.0, but the way that he performed to me over the last couple of days show that his ceiling could very well be Deshaun moving forward. Mason Taylor, I mean, you see the route runner, you see the hands, the yak. He's very athletic. You saw him blocking today on a couple of clips. This is a really good player as well. I think, fans get too hung up on draft grades and, I wanted this player over this player. But at the end of the day, the player that no one wanted from their fan base may turn out to be the one that actually works out better than anyone. Listen, in 2020, I threw everything out for Philadelphia Eagles stuff when I was a fan, and just so angry when they drafted Jalen Hurts, because I felt it was such a wasted pick. They won the division the year prior. They made the playoffs, and here they were drafting a quarterback to create a controversy. And now it's the greatest pick of all time that the team could ever have made in that situation. So we have to be patient on how we are judging rookie classes, not only in rookie camp, but just in general. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the future holds with some of these guys. But the early returns are that this team is very high on every single pick, because they all were able to stand out in some way throughout this rookie camp.
Well, that's kind of on you, Nick, for thinking you're smarter than Howie.
Listen, 100%. I learned that lesson the hard way.
So just the Deshaun Jackson comparison, do you see Smith more in the slot or on the outside?
I see him use both. I mean, Deshaun was 5'10", so I think he's a little smaller than Smith is. So that's why Philadelphia tried to use them everywhere else. But when you have a good offensive game plan, you're going to use receivers everywhere. I mean, Jameson Williams is lined up inside, outside, in the slot, near the tight end. It doesn't really matter. The Lions used him everywhere on the football field. I see a situation like that happening with Arian Smith, where they're just going to make him an offensive weapon with his speed and allow him to figure everything else out after.
Yeah, and they also have that flexibility to move Garrett around too. It's just a matter of who's going to end up being that X, and we're pretty sure at this point it might not be Denzel Mims. I appreciate your time, guys.
People are going to be too worried about who's playing the X, who's playing the Z. I wouldn't be too worried about it. I think they're going to move everyone around.
I appreciate your time. Enjoy the game, Jake.
Kyle, stand by your mail the next couple days. That's all I'm going to say.
I understand. Thank you, Jake.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the great Kyle Clifton checking in. Nick, we'll let you Finish your drive back to Queens. Appreciate you as always for hopping on, my friend.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
Nick Faria with us there. Jet X Factor now. Check him out on Twitter. He was at Rookie Minicamp the last 2 days, so appreciate him today. And then yesterday, Robbie Sabo coming on to give us a recap from Minicamp. I think we're the only channel that had 2 people on that were actually at Minicamp the last 2 days. So if you want eyewitness observations from yesterday, check back on the second show. And if you missed Nick's full appearance, rewind and go back. Plus, we played the full 13-minute Aaron Glenn press conference at the start of the show as well. And I maintain this. The best thing that happened to the Jets is Mason Taylor going from number 46 yesterday to his permanent number of 85 today. I'm so giddy we might have to give out a number 85 jersey on the show this week. How about that? Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Reminder, end of the show, we're giving away a Patrick Ewing autograph photo. I will mail it to you. So if you want to enter, send in a super chat or go out there and get the membership. Our top prizes in the weekly raffles. And by the way, if you won a prize yesterday, this morning, I went to the post office. It has already been sent out. So the 5 winners of Raffle 25, that was Peter Castro, who got the full-size helmet, Sean Cora, who got the Fields helmet, Dylan, who got the Klecko helmet, Meadow Man, who got the AG photo, and Mimosa, who got the Sauce jersey. That was already sent out. Top prizes in our raffle 1 week from yesterday. Brunson jersey, Glenn jersey, Martin jersey, all signed and authenticated. Steven says, Jake, please give a shout-out to Wesley Walker. Look, Jet history, number 85, the last successful second-round wide receiver that the Jets drafted was Wesley Walker. And I love the fact that Mason Taylor is a pass catcher and he's rocking the 85. Just looks like a clean number. Hopefully it works. How about our guy, Rat Diddy? You kidding me? $50 super chat for the people. Man, Nick really knows how to get all the Asmaniacs hyped up with his takes. Let's go, Knicks. Shout out to Rat Diddy, diehard Jet and Nick fan. Rat, you're in our raffle for 10.
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
Let's go, Knicks. KO punch at the Garden today. No teams ever come back down 3-0. Knicks got an opportunity here. You got a chance to win today. Take it. Don't let Boston back in the series. Feed off the energy. Attack, attack, attack. The Knicks have not played anywhere close to how they're able to play. And all the pressure's on Boston. Let them squander it. Let them squeal as they've collapsed at the end of these games. Get after their ass. Take advantage. Kyle Clifton in our raffle for one more. Kyle, thank you very much. You're up to 7 raffle entries in the show. Weave the Dweeb with a super chat. Cuts the line. I don't know if y'all care, but ESPN said Carr retired. Look, this was shocking, but it just shows you how serious that shoulder injury was, right? By the way, where are all the people that said the Jets were better off signing Derek Carr? How about the fact Derek Carr ends up retiring before Aaron Rodgers? Just crazy. You feel bad. You never want to see a guy have to retire due to injury, but, man, I mean, we knew he wasn't playing at all this year. I don't think we thought he'd retire. But what a brutal contract. Saints are on the hook for a lot of dead cap now, dealing with that. Just brutal. And the Saints, look, I don't want to go nuts over power rankings, but it's a joke that the Jets were ranked behind the Saints. Right? The Jets were 30th, and the Saints were like 26th or 27th in that ESPN power ranking article. The Saints are going to start, what, Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler at quarterback? They stink, all right? The Jets are better than the Saints. I don't care what anyone says. Let's get to more of your calls. Party with Peg and Artie's next. What's up? Artie,
Jake, what's happening? How you doing today? I got some company over. Friends flew in from Oregon for the Knicks today. They're going on a cruise tomorrow. I told them if they had to fly in, they had to get here before 3 o'clock so I could get them. I wasn't going to miss the game to pick them up at the airport. They'd have to Uber. So they complied. Got some barbecue going. Got some drinks flowing. Peg's pretty drunk. I'm half drunk.
Peg right now?
Yeah, we got. Yeah, she's right there. She's creeping behind me.
Peg.
I'm hitting the Hennessy.
Yes, she is.
Go. Let's go.
We're having a good time.
Get the Henny, Peg. Let's go, baby.
Get the Henny, Peg. All right, she's getting it, Jake. We got friends from Oregon. He's a Raiders fan. Ooh. And I introduced him to Jets YouTube last night. How many people I follow and how much stuff I watch 24/7. He was thoroughly impressed. That's Steve, by the way.
Steve, good to see you.
Go Jets! Go Jets! He's rooting for us, though, man. He knows.
I love everyone should root for us. We're tortured.
Mouthful left.
Oh, she only got about a mouthful left. Hennessy
fine.
White.
Let's go.
Hey, take a shot with
I
Jake.
can't end this call unless I rip a shot with Peg right now.
Yeah,
Let's
she's
go.
doing it right now.
Drink out of the bottle.
Yeah, we're having a good time. Beautiful summer day here in Central Florida.
I love it. You guys deserve it.
Yay, why not? And as soon as I hang up, I got to do a 5. I really need that Brunson jersey. I got to at least take a shot.
You got to be in it to win it. Peg,
Got to be in it to win.
What are we drinking to?
Nixon 4.
Okay.
There we go. Love it.
That's how we
Peg,
do it.
You guys are legends. Love
Hey,
it.
Jake, can you give me a Aaron Glenn, get the fuck out, please, on our way out?
You know what? It is an honor and a privilege to do that.
You get the fuck out.
What a call that was. A drunk Peg. Love that. Love Peg and Artie. They came all the way from Florida to our draft party last month. Just incredible people. Kyle Clifton, another raffle entry for Kyle. Love it. Boom. Thank you, Kyle. Wild Wave. Bro, don't try to justify Rodgers over Carr. I will justify it. Anyone who's trying to tell you that the Jets were better off signing a different quarterback than going after Rodgers is a revisionist history scoundrel. But in all seriousness, like, obviously he didn't work with Aaron Rodgers. It could not have gone worse. But it was the right move to get after him, to get him. There were no alternatives that would have put the Jets in a better spot. None. The other option was Derek Carr. That would have been a colossal mistake. They'd still be dealing with cap ramifications much greater than Rodgers, because Rodgers took the $35 million pay cut. And the other option after that was Jimmy Garoppolo, made of glass. So it didn't work, but it's pretty crazy that Aaron Rodgers is still likely playing football this year, and Derek Carr is the one who's retiring first. Party with Peg and Artie. Artie wasn't kidding. He's in for 5. All right, here we go. Terminator, T800, Chelsea Porto, Brian, and Kyle and Keith the Change are the 5 people who just got a membership there from Party with Peg and Artie. Indy Jets, who gifted one earlier, is now in for 5 more channel memberships. Indy, this is for you. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Indy Jets, you're in for 5. Ryan L., Kyle Radahead, Matthew Sereno, and Cigar Gangster, all receiving a channel membership there. Appreciate that, Indy. Let's get to more of your calls here. Purple Belt Mike is fired up for his Knicks today. What's up, Mike?
Let's go Knicks, baby. We're winning tonight or this afternoon, whatever you want to call it. Let's go Knicks.
Let's go.
Fuck Boston. Go New York, go New York, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Purple Belt Mike.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
I love it. The positivity of the Knicks is helping Mike now be very excited about Arian Smith and all the other draft picks, if you saw his chat earlier. All right, let's keep going with your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, when this guy calls in, we all stop what we're doing. We gather around our phone, our iPad, our TV, our computer screen, and we appreciate greatness. Period. End of story. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tom.
He thinks that Gary needs more shots upside his head. This cowboy hates when you don't believe in achievement. Well, they call him One Punch Brigger. The moon landing was free. They call him One Punch Brigger. His claim is not true. They call him One Punch Brigger. Hated Johnson's fight inside. One Punch Brigger. Don't you know they need one?
Hello, Jake.
What's up, Dave?
I got no football takes today, but PPM, they knew I'm at this car show and they wanted to see some cars.
Oh, give us some cars, Dave. I'm in.
Yeah. Can you see? I don't know if you can see this. Okay.
Yeah, we see it.
It's a 48 Dodge. Okay, 48 Dodge. Look around the parking lot here. Big car show here. Music PA. We got everything here.
What's the top car?
What's the top car? I don't know. They got everything here. Here's a nice automobile. I think it's, what's it, 67 down, 442.
Wow.
Can you see that? 67, 442. Look at that. Look, that's American muscle under the hood. Take a look at that, baby. American muscle. Can you see that? Can you see that, Jake? That's achievement.
Oh, yeah.
That was stuff that's made in the USA where we were building great stuff as opposed to what our fellow Gary thinks, you know? He knows nothing about achievements. Here's a 72 here's a 72 Cutlass. This guy we know. I graduated high school with his brother. 72 Cutlass. These things are like sleepers. If you have purple belt, Mike could know that what a sleeper is, okay? Here we got a Camaro's. 396 Camaro. You see that, Jake?
Oh, that's incredible. I feel the achievement just oozing
Look at
off
that
the
achievement.
screen.
Look at that. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What do you think of that, baby? What do you think of this stuff? You want to see some Mustangs? There's a Corvette down there. There's nice bikes. It's a beautiful day here in northeastern Pennsylvania.
It's a great spread of cars here. It's a great show.
Look at this. Look at this. This is the 48 Dodge from the front. This is the guy we know. He's a big businessman. He's a real achiever. You got to have achievement when you have cars like this. You know, I got my Asmaniac hat on here at the show. If you can see that.
I love it. You're always repping, Dave. We appreciate you.
Well, hey, I got look at these, baby. These are real cars. Show Mr. Gary 3D boxing what achievement is. That guy knows zilch. 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 You know, he aggravates me. See, we moved all the cars in his car lot. This guy sells cars. We moved all these cars this morning. Over 100 cars to bring up for the people to bring these cars in. Here's a station wagon, a Woody wagon. Look at this baby. Look at this baby. What do you think of that? Look at this. Land yacht. Let's see this.
Dave, what's your favorite all-time car?
My favorite all-time car? Hemi Barracuda with a 426 Hemi in it.
Wow.
We used to go to the drag strip up here, the Pocono Drag Lodge. They used to call it Lime Fire. Nothing ever beat it. Here's some modern BMWs. You know, that's not an achievement really, but you know.
They're calling you one dry Brigga now, Dave.
Okay, we got some Mustangs up here. You know, here's a Hearst Olds. Then my buddy Dominic's up here, and he's got his Florida State Seminoles jacket, but he's back in the back there. I want to show Ricky New York that. You know, here's some Mopar power. Look at this baby. This is Mopar.
This is great. I love seeing you this passionate about something, Dave. It's awesome.
Firebird. Look at this baby.
That looks tremendous.
Yeah. What's up? There's some Mustangs. I don't know where Louis is. But this is Mustang here. Shelby Cobra. Shelby Cobra Mustang. Look at that. GT 500. Look at that baby. These are cars, my friend. This is American achievement. Up front and personal. Look at that. But I want to show PBM. I know he's interested. He wanted me to show you guys this stuff. I have no football takes. Hey, it's the off season.
Hey, it's May 10th. You don't need to have football takes. We're all just hanging out on a Saturday.
Here's an LSU fan. Look at this. LSU. This our new tight end.
Mason Taylor.
Yeah. So we got a lot of football guys here. You know, here's some old Corvettes.
I love it. This is a great show.
Oh yeah. Hey, the guys in this era, they knew what cars were. A lot of the stuff you don't see today. Some of the guys aren't here. We passed away. You know, I still mourn the loss of my good buddy there. So it's been a tough go. It's been a tough go recently, but the Lord is in control. So I didn't have any football takes, Jake. But I want to show you down it. My Florida State. Here's a Florida show, Ricky. I don't know where he went. Is Ricky watching today?
We'll tell him. We'll let him know.
Yeah, he had his Florida State jack out here in the East, but he's gone. Anyway, you guys got any questions?
I'll tell you what. I think the chat is just enamored with your passion, Dave. We love this.
Well, I don't like, that's my passion is to achieve. I wish we could. Hey, and these eras, that's what the last time we won. When you see these cars at 60, 67, 68, 69. That's what that's were good. When we were in the AFL. So
that's right.
Unfortunately, you guys don't remember. I'm probably the oldest one. I think probably what's his name, Southern Jet. I think he's been around longer than me as far as a Jets fan. I think I'm longer than Joe B. I think because Joe B's younger than me, and also he complains more than me.
You're the man, Dave. You have a great day at the show. All right.
Okay. Take care, gentlemen. Have a good. I hope your Knicks win.
Let's go Knicks, baby.
I saw that headline. What do they want to give him one punch? Hope they get that one punch in.
We need that one punch Brigham right now. All
Give
right.
that KO. KO him, just like Gary needs to get KO. Okay.
He thinks that Charles and Bobby need to get a job. This cowboy hates to see Asmaniacs complain. What they call him one punch Brigham. You need to get a job. What they call him one punch Brigham. The beast is on his ass. Call him one punch Brigham. Has anyone seen Bean Mac? Call him one punch Brigham. You only need one.
Yeehaw, baby. Love seeing Dave Brigham fired up about cars. Love that passion. Quick heads up. Last chance to get in here. Patrick Ewing signed photo at the end of the show in honor of the Knicks playoff run. If you gift a membership, you're also in for the weekly prize for next week. Curtis Martin jersey, Glenn jersey, and Jalen Brunson signed jersey as well. Bought a Brunson jersey. Had to do it. Come on now. Us Jet fans, most of us are Knick fans, so glad to get a Knick prize in our weekly raffle. David Atkins gifted a membership during that Brigham call. He is in our raffle for one. I am tallying the list here. Paul Faz has 5. Philip Hannon has 5. Genergy has 10. PBM has 2. Clifton has 8. JT 1. Indy Jet 6. Rat Diddy 10. David Atkins 1. Those are the tallies for the memberships in our Ewing raffle. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to a fellow Knick fan on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, we now head live down to South Florida, where the great David T is standing by.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hello there, Jake.
Hello, David.
Hey, first of all, boy, that Dave Brigham thing was terrific, and I want to let him know that my first car way back in 1974 was a 1969 Chevy Chevelle Malibu, and I had Krager mags on it, and that was my first car. And as far as achievement goes, my down payment on it was a bond. I was a paper boy, and we had like a bond that built up. That was my down payment, and I had to pay for my car myself, Dave. So just want to let him know that.
I love that. It's a great car you had.
Oh, my God. It was green with a black vinyl top. I had a dark green. I had mags on it, and I'm like Dave, passionate about that car to this day, So life is good. But I'm happy you're going to the Knicks game, Jake. I got a question for you. I'm feeling really good about it, like you say, though, from my lips to God's ears. But my question is, I mean, I know the Celtics are beat up a little bit, physically and emotionally. And, I know Tibbs can coach. I know the house is going to be rocking, but do you think that, and I think I know the answer you're going to give me because, the Villanova guys, they were 4 years, they were always in big games in college and everything. But can the Knicks get caught up in the emotion and and lose it today. I mean, I'm not quite sure what to think.
I think the Knicks need to go out there and they need to treat this game today like it's either 0-0 or they're the team down 0-2 because you're going to get desperation early from Boston. Their season is essentially on the line. No team has ever come back down 3-0. But I think the Knicks still have a lot of room to be better than how they played, right? I think that's what people are leaving out. And I think the Knicks need to feed off the home crowd. Boston's been a terrific road team this year, the best ever, some will tell you. Third best record all time, but they've had more double-digit road wins than any team ever. So, look, the pressure's on them. How do they handle it? How healthy is Porzingis, right, with the illness he's dealing with? If the Knicks could make it close in the fourth, the team that has shown the inability to be able to handle it is Boston. So that should be the goal. Find a way to be in this thing late and give yourself a chance with the home crowd to get by. You got to win one of these at the Garden. You win today, though, it's the step on the throat type of win. And essentially the series will likely be over. So that's got to be the mentality they play with.
We can only hope. We want blood, but Tibbs. I hope Tibbs takes advantage of Mr. Al Horford. I mean, nothing against him. He's a good player, but he's a little long in the tooth. So, take advantage of their weaknesses.
Yeah, 100%. Look, it's not going to be easy. I am expecting this to be a tight game, and Boston's the champ, so they deserve the benefit of the doubt until you beat them. But, they haven't been tested like this. No team took them to 6 in their playoff run a year ago. Not once. They were up 3-0 in the finals. Like, they have not faced any sort of adversity quite like this. So this is the opportunity that the Knicks have. They've earned it. Now go out there and take it and essentially end this series today.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, and you're going to be there rocking the house, and I can hear the chants of defense already.
Amen. Amen. Love it. Dave, appreciate the call.
Thank you, sir.
I got my eye on you. Checkmate me full screen. It's fireball whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
Yeah, baby. Jose Lopez in our raffle for 5 with this $20 super chat. Let's go. Hey, Jake, I remember when Parcells came to the Jets and we were horrible at the time. He demanded respect and built it differently. Not saying Glenn's Parcells, but I think you get the point. Don't care how we win. Go Knicks. Hey, look, Glenn is not Parcells because Parcells came to the Jets and he was already a 2-time Super Bowl champion and had taken another team to a Super Bowl as well. But Glenn comes from that pedigree, and Glenn is authentically himself. And if there's ever been a coach that this fan base can rally around, it's him because he was one of us, and he wanted this job. But he's going to need talent, and the intangible stuff is going to have to now translate because you just never know. I'm not saying Glenn's Robert Saleh, but I think it's important to remember that you wouldn't have found a single soul on the planet that was anti that hire. He was the top guy at the time. We thought we were getting this fiery guy, right? We saw him on the sidelines with the Niners, and he just wasn't that guy. I think Glenn is authentically himself. That's the one thing I gather. And I hope it works because what a great story that would be, huh? What a great story that would be. All right, more of your calls before it's raffle time. Let's say hi to Steven NYC. What's up, Steven?
Hey, Jake. How you doing?
What's up, Steven?
Just wanted to say good luck to the Knicks. I'm a big Net fan, but I'm definitely a Knicks fan. This is an easy team to love, and I wanted to wish you luck. And I wanted to just mention one thing I don't think anyone's mentioned. New Pope, Villanova grad. Does that mean anything to us? I mean, what do you think? Can't hurt.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would argue there might be a higher power looking over the Knicks now. Pope Leo is all about the New York Knicks.
Right. So you know what? If he's rooting for anyone and he's an NBA fan and he's not a Bulls fan, who knows? But he's got to have some allegiance to Nova. So take whatever you can get. It's not going to be easy. But there you go. I like that. I never saw that. Hey, have a good time today, okay? Enjoy it and good luck.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you. Great call. Not going to be easy. You got to get one of these at the Garden. But you win today, it's like, oh, my God. You're going to be a party on 7th Avenue after this game. Pork of the morning up next. What's up, Pork?
Hey, Jake. How you doing, my man?
Hey, Pork. How are you? Love the shirt.
Oh yeah, you got it from me, my man. I'm really excited. I mean, I like what I heard today, especially about Arian Smith. Uh, you know, a lot of people are down on him, but I seen him as a Deshaun Jackson type, and also the Mason Taylor number 85. I mean, Wesley Walker's like my all-time Jet favorite player from when I was a little kid. You know what I mean? Wesley Walker was the man. I mean, he could fly. So maybe Arian Smith could mimic some of him. And
The way Glenn talked about him, I think, is noticeable because all the other players he's been asked about, he's been kind of very even keeled, like complimentary, but not over the top. When asked about Arian Smith, he like paused, had like a smile, and was like, he's got some juice to him. So they really like him. And if they prove they know what they're doing with him, I think they gain a lot of credibility with us as fans who have questioned that pick.
Yeah. And Mason Taylor. I mean, I like that guy. I think he's going to do great things here, and I like his number. I mean, he's got a prestige number, in my opinion. He's got to live up to that too. So tomorrow I'm traveling to Chicago, so the next couple of weeks, I'll be there. Just everybody have a great weekend. Jet life to the next life. Thanks, Jake.
Pork, appreciate you. Love it. Last chance to enter the raffle. I'm counting up the names as we speak. While that is being counted up, we head live right now to One Jets Drive.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Are we ready for game number 3? I want to freaking hear you. Come on. Let's go. Come on. I can't hear you. Come on. Let's go. Come on. I want to hear that chant. K-N-I-C-K-S. Go Knicks.
How did you spell the Knicks?
Jack. That's right. Oh, there's you want to pull that up, Jake, at 12:48 p.m. This Joshua R saying that was a Bulls fan versus the Knicks in the playoffs in the 90s. Excuse me. That question will run you, and you could say good night, Irene, as they say, good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Hit the hole, Joshua R. Bon voyage, bon voyage. Are we ready, Jake? Let's open up the hole, shall we? At 3, 2, 1. Are you ready?
I don't know I don't know who you're talking about, Beast. I don't see this comment here.
Go up, go scroll up. It says right here, 12:48. I'll show it right here. Right here.
Josh was saying that you're a Bulls fan.
You just did. Time to sing the words. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Hit the hole, Joshua. Now, Jake, please open up the hole.
Hey, Beast, here's what we need from you in honor of this Knicks game today. I need you to give us a Jalen Brunson impersonation, cross up Jason Tatum, and pull up for an elbow jumper.
Hey, get out of my fool! See ya! Wham! Bam! Ha! Ha! Go, baby, go!
All right, now I need a Mitchell Robinson putback dunk. All right, dunk that ball. I'm ready for a basketball game now. Pork of the morning in the raffle for 2. Anyone remember the last game in 97 when we got screwed out of a playoff game? Talking about the Heat series when the Knicks got players suspended for coming off the bench in the brawl? Chef Kevin, Beast rocking the fresh white tee. Tom A says, dunk on little Joey like Starks did to Jordan. Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, that is a way to get the people fired up, I'd say. All right, here's what we're going to do. Comments, questions, super chats, last chance here. In the meantime, I need about a minute to get the names ready for the raffle. So I'm going to give you here Arman Membu's press conference, for those who missed it from yesterday, first press conference after a official practice for the Jets' new, we believe, starting right tackle.
Sorry, questions? What was it like to go out there for your first time as an NFL player in an NFL practice?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's good to get my feet back wet, especially, I haven't practiced since November, so it's been a while.
What's the biggest challenge right now for you?
I'll just say just changing my footwork and techniques and learning the playbook to what the Jets do.
How much of the playbook are they giving you bits and pieces to start with, or are they kind of like, what's the load right now that you're learning?
Bits and pieces every day, but it's been pretty smooth though.
What was yesterday like for you signing your first contract?
It was pretty cool, especially once I looked at all them zeros on the page. That's when I didn't realize how much money I was getting, but now it's definitely a blessing for sure.
What's been your impression of Aaron Glenn? And obviously you have a bunch of meetings with him prior to getting here, but how do you see him as a coach and a leader here?
Yeah, I respect him a lot, and I like the culture that he's building here for sure.
Can you expand on what the things you like about him, discipline, player coach, and that kind of thing? I mean, it's early stages here, but
The Coach Glenn, he's not going to demean you, but he's going to demand the best out of you. So I like that.
how much have you spoken to your other linemen here, that the veterans and Justin this week? Have you seen or talked to them at all, and you just got here yesterday?
I just met Ode today, so we talked a little bit. So it was good to get to know him.
Arman, with all those zeros, do you have any plans to how are you going to spend it?
I don't have no big plans right now. Probably really just taking care of my family.
What's your early impression of your O-line coach?
I like him a lot, yeah. Doing install yesterday, it was good to learn the playbook.
How much do you think Olu can help you, because he just went through this a year ago?
Yeah, he was a rookie a year ago, so he definitely be able to help me a lot.
What are your feelings about having your quarterback cook here?
It means the world to me. It's dope seeing Brady here, and it's just cool seeing, because I've been with him my freshman year at Mizzou, so it's awesome.
When you met Olu, what did you guys speak about?
Really, I just asked him about how it was like for him last year, and then he was just telling me what it was like for him, and then just, the life of a rookie.
What kind of quarterback is Brady cook? Like, what are the Jets getting?
Just a leader and just a very, very tough dude. I mean, if you've seen that Auburn game last year, he went to the hospital mid-game and came back and won it for us. So that just shows you the type of character and leader that he is.
What was your reaction when you found out they were bringing him in?
I was just happy. He texted me. I was super happy.
Did you have any idea that was maybe in the works at all, or was that a surprise for you?
Yeah, he told me that it was a chance that he could come here, I think, like a week before the draft. So I was definitely happy when he came.
I'm sure these last couple of weeks have been a whirlwind. Just has there been a moment where you kind of sat back and appreciated that you're here, and what does that feel like?
No, for sure. It means the world that I'm here, but at the same time, it's my job now, so it's time to get to work.
How much different is this offense from what you did in college?
Honestly, it's, a little more detail. I mean, obviously NFL more detail and everything, but it's not too different because, wide zone and stuff. So it's been good it hasn't been too complicated to learn.
I know these are light practices, but how good does it feel to get back out there and hit people again?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I said, I haven't practiced since November, so it's been awesome to, finally get my feet back wet again.
There is Arman Membu from yesterday. Of course, his first ever practice was yesterday. He's rocking the number 70 officially. Not my favorite number, but at least it's an O-line number. Certainly better than the original Mason Taylor number 46. But I think our expectations, and rightfully so, are very high for the Jets' 7th overall pick in the draft. All right, folks. As promised, we're going to give away, in honor of the Knicks playoff run here, a signed Patrick Ewing 8x10 authenticated photo. One lucky Asmaniac will win. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to spin the wheel.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac Raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
That is right. It is time for someone to win an epic prize. Hit the music. Here we go. So, there are 55 entries in. Thank you to everyone who super chatted or sent in a membership during this live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, Let's spin the wheel and find out who's going away with Knicks glory here on a Knicks playoff Saturday. The wheel is spinning right now. And the winner of the Ewing autograph photo is listener Kyle Clifton. He's inside, he's outside. Well, guess what? Clifton is a winner of the Ewing jersey. Let's go. Hit it, Mike Breen. Mike Breen, by the way, thank God, calling this game on ABC for all the Knicks fans who are going to be watching on TV. In honor of Mr. Clifton winning the jersey, I think I know what needs to be played. This. Let's go. I keep saying jersey, but I mean signed photo. Congrats to Kyle. Shout out to everyone who tuned in. Thank you again to Nick Faria, who joined us to recap minicamp. I want to end the show with a message. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I'm on Mad Dog Sports Radio from 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So if you want to hear me, listen on Sirius XM Channel 82. I will not have a show tomorrow, so the best way to hear me is to listen on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Again, thank you all for watching. Let's go Knicks. Knicks in 4. Garden going to be rocking. Can't wait to be there. Again, thank you all for your support each and every day on this program. I'll talk to you guys soon. Jets. Jets, Jets, Jets. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Robert C. is on the line. Hey, Robert, did you brush your hair with a vacuum?
It just pops up like they say.
Your hair looks amazing.
Yeah, we got the house remodeled. It's all different. The walls got painted. Whoa, living on a prayer. They asked me to sing Living on Prayer. Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. Okay.
Bravo, Robert C. That was a tremendous call. Robert C. has called back in. Hey, Robert.
Hi, Jake. I'm decorating my house, and I haven't been able to call in a while. I just wanted to say hi because it's been too long, calling in. But the house, I'll show you my house.
Where's Tammy, Robert?
I don't know. Tammy, say hi. Yeah.
You want to sing more Bon Jovi for us?
I don't know. Yeah, halfway there. Sorry, I didn't write much material because I just threw this together.
Thank you for the call, Robert. Thank you very much. Robert C. called it twice. What a show. Gator, man. Try explaining the show to someone who doesn't watch the show. Kyle says the fact that Gator has so many wigs laying around his house is awesome.